Going to the Martial Arts and Fitness Center of Excellence was the first time in my entire military career where I felt intimidated. You feel me? People don't give a fuck what you say. A lot of people do not understand this. They care about what you do. All of a sudden, you second guess so many obstacles in my path.
I'm gonna hold your hand when I say
You don't think that you gonna make it?
It seems like there's something standing in my way. Keep relying on
It
tomorrow.
could change the entire trajectory of your life. You the baseline. The moment that they see you not display the things that you preach, it don't fucking matter. You feel me? What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm your host, Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of the Meech Speaks podcast. Now, before we get started with this podcast, don't forget to head on over to your favorite streaming platform and leave this podcast an honest review. To be honest with you, you can also head on over to the website, grab a shirt, check out a new episode, but most importantly, do not forget to leave this podcast an honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as. All right, so today's episode, man, look, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Some episodes, I'm like, hell yeah, man, like this would be good for the community. And then there are some episodes where I feel like it's gonna be good for me. And today, this episode, honestly, man, I feel like it's really just good for me. To be honest with you, I really feel like this episode is gonna be really good for me because it's been on my mind. It's been on my mind. Now, as we already know, I've been in the Marine Corps for about 16 years. You feel me? Gunnery Sergeant, United States Marines. And one thing that I've always struggled with, I don't want to say always struggled with because there was a part of my career where I never really struggled with this shit. I would say the later half of my career, I started struggling with it. And that's boundaries. All right. I'm going to just be honest with you. One thing that Meech Speaks struggles with, and I'm just being 100% transparent, is fucking boundaries. All right. Like I started struggling with it the moment that I became a staff NCO, and that shit pisses me the fuck off every single time, man, because I remember when there was a time when I didn't have this issue, and now that this issue has come up, I find myself frustrated because I'm learning how to work through it. I find myself frustrated because I'm learning new ways to work through it. You feel me? And when I say learning new ways to work through it, the old way just don't work. You feel me? Like the old way just ain't working. And I don't know who need to hear this, but sometimes the thing that you learned and it worked best for you only worked best because of the space that you were in, the environment that you were in. It only works because of the position that you were at, the rank that you were at. That's why it worked. But when you elevated, that became obsolete. You feel me? Like the thing that worked best for you, I'm talking about like your secret weapon became obsolete. And that was the big frustrating part for me. Now, before we get started with this episode, I gotta say this, man, because we get so fucking weird when we talk about boundaries. I don't understand why. As soon as we talk about like a buzzword that you hear on the fucking internet, all of a sudden here come this weird shit come out. And when I say that weird shit, I'm talking about, oh, well, the Marine Corps is soft now. Bro, like ain't nothing soft about boundaries. You feel me? Ain't nothing soft about me telling you to treat me like a fucking human being. Ain't nothing soft with me telling you to talk to me like you got some fucking respect. Ain't nothing soft about, hey, if I tell you don't do this and you do it again, me and you're gonna have a problem. Ain't nothing soft about that. You feel me? But we try to make it that way. As soon as we talk about some space or some topic about self-care, it gets so, oh, well, I need to have thick skin. No, you don't. You don't need to have thick skin. You need to have a clear set of boundaries so people will stop fucking doing it. Because if you don't, you're going to be getting passively, aggressively bullied at work and wondering why you fucking hate your job because you don't have fucking boundaries. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the real reasons why we need to have this conversation. And once again, I'm talking to myself. And I remember, man, I'll tell you some of the best advice that I ever got as a sergeant that I had to, and it wasn't even a sergeant. Some of the best advice that I ever got as a corporal was advice that I would have to later forget when I became a staff NCO. And I remember being a young corporal, man, and I had a sergeant. His name was Sergeant Garcia. And I'm telling you, man, like I looked up to Sergeant Garcia, man, because I wanted to be just like him. Like if there was some sergeants that I wanted to be like, it was Kay, it was Garcia, it was Duran. Like these were like Marines that I wanted to emulate. You feel me? And I remember I was finishing up my first duty station and I was getting ready to PCS to North Carolina. And Garcia, he's talking to me in a smoke pit. And Garcia said, hey, Thick Pen, when you get to your first duty station, you feel me? Like when you get to your first duty station, you got to treat this shit like it's jail. I said, what? He said, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been before. I said, hey, chill. Okay. But he like that ass. Like you really got to treat your next duty station like it's your first week in prison. Because if you don't, you're going to be getting punked out the entire time that you there. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, give me the game. As soon as you get to your next duty station, you have 1 week. Okay. You have 1 week to chew some junior Marine's ass. I looked, I said, what? He said, yes, you have 1 week to chew a Marine's ass. Okay. And I looked at him, I was like, what if the correction ain't there? He said the correction will always be there. You just got to know what you're looking at. And as soon as I got to North Carolina, I was leaving from California to North Carolina. As soon as I got there, I checked in, I did the formalities, but I'm waiting. You feel me? Like I'm waiting. I'm on a prowl. I ain't even about to lie to you. I'm literally waiting for a Marine to fuck up. And I remember Garcia telling me, he said, you can't chew their ass over some bullshit though, man. Like don't chew their ass over some bullshit that you made up in your head. Legitimate, honest fucking correction if you want to establish who you are very early. And I waited. I got there on Monday. Tuesday comes. Wednesday came. I have not made a correction. I'm not even about to lie to you. By Wednesday, my heart is beating because I'm like, bro, like you only have 2 more fucking days, bro. Like you have 2 more days to say something, to do something, or you're going to have a fucking issue. Like you need to make something happen. You need to make something fucking shake. And sure enough, the platoon sergeant comes in over to the maintenance section. He says, hey, Thickman, let me talk to you. He says, hey, I know you just got here, but I just want to make you aware. We went through rooms earlier this morning, and one of your Marines, his room was fucked up. I'm talking about terrible. When he said that, right? Like, yo, when he said that, the smile on my face, bro, was it's shameful. I was ashamed of how much I smiled from that situation. You feel me? Because I was like this, there it is right there. There's the correction I've been looking for. And I was like, don't worry, Sergeant, I'll take care of it. Young Corporal Thigpen, 100%. I'm definitely about to take care of that. Young Corporal Thigpen coming off of an NJP, come on now. You know I'm about to go handle that. And literally, I'm talking about once we got done with PT, Marines show back up, I'm briefing them. I pull that Marine off to the side and I light his ass the fuck up. Not proud of how I was moving as a corporal. You feel me? No. I am actually very proud of that. You feel me? Like, I know a lot of times when we be reflecting and shit like that, we want to say like, oh man, you know, I wasn't proud of that. No, I was 100% proud of that. I was 100%. Solid fucking correction. I light this Marine the fuck up. I light him up. Everybody on the maintenance section heard it. Everybody in the fucking ops bay, they heard it. Everybody knew exactly where the hell I was at. And that's exactly the presence that I set. And I held on to that advice. When I left from North Carolina, I went straight to California and I did it again. You feel me? I did it again. This time around though, like I waited. You know what I mean? I wasn't antsy like I was last time. I wasn't antsy. I just waited. And sure enough, just like what Garcia said, the correction will always be there. And when it was, boom, I seized it again. And I had always established myself as that. And as I progressed through my career, 100%, like I never really had an issue with anybody else. I didn't start really having issues, bro, until I became a staff sergeant. And it was my first time stepping out of the fleet and stepping on a team. When I got to the MACE, man, like I feel like a lot of times we have a hard time setting boundaries, man, for a plethora of reasons. Sometimes we don't know what the boundary is. You feel me? Sometimes we honestly don't know exactly what to say. You feel me? We don't want to be difficult. We don't want to feel like we're fighting an unnecessary battle. For me, honestly, I was fucking intimidated. I'm not even about to lie. Going to the MACE, right? Like going to the Martial Arts and Fitness Center of Excellence. There it is right there. Going to the Martial Arts and Fitness Center of Excellence was the first time in my entire military career where I felt intimidated. You feel me? That was the first. I'm talking, bro, like you got to understand, boot camp was not intimidated. First duty station, not intimidated. Second, not intimidated. Third, not intimidated. Soon as I got to the MACE, I'm surrounded by long ball hitters. Everybody there is either the same rank as me or a rank above. And that was the first time where I felt the imposter syndrome. That was the first time where I felt, bro, I just felt small amongst giants. And I remember getting there and having a conversation with one of the guys, and he was like, "Yo, like, what is the name that you want to go by? You know what I mean? Like, we can call you Thick Pen, or we can just call you a nickname." And he said, "Do you go by D?" And as I was trying to correct him, he was like, "No, like I never go by D. I go by Meech." We immediately parted ways, and from there he said D, and then everybody else starts saying D. And I remember being at the Mace for the first year and a half, bro, going by D. For a year and a half, I went by a name that I fucking hated. You see what I'm saying? I went by a name that I've never went by in my entire military fucking career. I've went by something that I was like, what? And I get it, man. I get it. Demetrius, you imagine that I would probably go by D. No, man. Like, I've always went by Meech. You feel me? Like, Meech isn't a name that I've just fucking made up. Meech is short for Demetrius. And I remember when it finally came out that I hated going by D. Like, I hated when people called me that. Everybody was so fucking mad at me. And not in a way of like, yo, like, what the fuck, man? Like, I want to still call you D. They were mad because it was like, if you didn't like it, then why the fuck did you allow it? And honestly, that's really where the bulk of this episode is, man. I didn't like it. They were upset about me. They were upset with me because if I didn't like it, why didn't I say anything? Well, fuck, bro. I didn't know how. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how. I didn't want to be that guy. You feel me? I didn't want to make a big deal out of something. And although I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, it was a fucking big deal. You feel me? Like, it was a big deal because every time they called me it, my skin fucking crawled. Every time they called me that, I knew I would hear it in my head, like, that's not even your fucking name. But for some reason, I couldn't fucking say, yo, like, I go by Meech, bro. And that shit was so fucking embarrassing. I think about that a lot. Not even about to lie to you. I think about that a lot. Not because I went so long. I think about it because it's like, damn, bro, like, I wish I would have known what I know now or how to address it. And then I think about it from the perspective of just being in the military. A lot of us are going to tolerate shit not because we fucking soft, but because we just simply don't fucking know. And that is the biggest problem, man. Like, we know a lot of other things. We know how to yell at Marines. We know how to be an A-type personality. We know how to be confident. We know how to be all of these other things. But when it comes down to things that make us vulnerable, we don't fucking know. And when you don't know, you tend to allow shit that continues to go on, continues to fester. Next thing you know, you blowing up about some shit that you wish you would have corrected earlier, but you just continue to allow it. So with that being said, man, after that fucking story, let's go ahead and just get into what the fuck we talking about today, because we're talking about boundaries. Let's go. All right, so first things first, there's two big problems when we talk about boundaries, all right? There's the perspective or the misconception about it, and then there's the actual problem of being able to set it, okay? First off, the perception. All right, as soon as we use the word boundaries, all of a sudden I'm soft. All of a sudden I need to have thick skin. All of a sudden we didn't used to do that back in the Marine Corps. I'm gonna just tell you right now, man, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna throw that shit out because none of that shit is fucking real. You are not too soft if you have an issue with something. You don't need to develop thick skin if somebody is flat out fucking disrespecting you. I don't give a fuck what they used to do. This is what we doing right now. And if I'm in the story, then we are definitely not fucking doing that. And that is honestly exactly how you gotta move at it. You feel me? You have to move with it, with that mentality. If somebody tells you that you're too soft because you're addressing something that you don't like, you need to go ahead and just address that because you're not soft. All right. Obviously, it's bothering you. And even switch gears. If you said it to them, would they still allow it? You don't need to develop thick skin when you being flat out disrespected. Let me rephrase that real quick. I don't need to develop thick skin so you can continue to disrespect me. There it is right there. A motherfucker will love to tell you to develop thick skin just so they can disrespect you even more. They gonna tell you to develop some thick skin so that way they can disrespect you. Absolutely not. I'm not developing thick skin so you can continue to keep disrespecting me. I'm gonna address the disrespect right now. And if you have an issue with it, we could either take it to the proper channels or we can cut it out right here. People love to say, this is how we've always talked. This is what it used to be. Back in my Corps, I swear the Marine Corps is getting soft nowadays. We've all heard these things before, but the reality is that a lot of these motherfuckers would never allow somebody to say, do, or treat them the way that they're treating other people. So if that's the case, then don't fucking treat me like that. Go to a mirror and treat yourself like that. The other problem, honestly, man, is that we just don't know how. You feel me? And when I say we don't know how to do it in a, what's the best way to call it, man? Because we know how to address a boundary when we chewing some ass. You feel me? Like when it's time to chew some ass, we can go ahead and bring up some issues, address it right then and there. But when it's in a non-aggressive manner, there it is. Our problem isn't that we don't know how to set boundaries because we do a great job at it when it's an aggression. You feel me? When you're mad, you know exactly what the fuck to say. The problem is that you don't know how to do it assertively without being aggressive. You don't know how to say it and still be like, all right, well, we can continue to keep working. You addressing boundaries and now you about to treat that person like he a fucking op. You know what I mean? Like you about to treat him like he's the opposition. And that's why you struggle with it, man. And I bring that up, man, because of the simple fact that it's really broken down into 3 things. You got your timing, your clarity, and your confidence. All right? Your timing. I will tell you this right now. Address the shit early. Always address the shit early. Because if you address it early, there's no conflict. If you wait until it's too late, there will be confrontation. Okay? I don't know who need to hear that. When you set in boundaries, when you are addressing boundaries, especially in an A-type environment, especially in the United States Marine Corps, address it early so there's no conflict. Because if you wait, there will be confrontation. And I say that if you wait, there will be confrontation because you're going to let it fester. You're going to let it build up. You've already let the assertive train pass, and now you're waiting for the aggressive train to show up. That's the one that you're really waiting for. And it's a lot more comfortable to get on the aggressive train. So address it now. You feel me? Like, honest to God, man, like Garcia gave me some solid advice. And I know earlier I said that I wish I would have forgot it, but to be honest with you, all I really need to do is just rewrite that. I don't have to chew ass. I just need to address it early. That's what he was really trying to tell me. Address that shit early, bro. So that way, like, you're not dealing with it later on. That way that you're not establishing yourself again later on. Clarity. I don't know who need to hear this, man, but clarity ain't for you. Clarity is for them. When you tell somebody that you don't like something, you need to be clear about that. You got to. We love to laugh some shit off to lighten the fucking mood. I'm going to tell you right now, ain't nothing funny about being disrespected. Ain't nothing funny. Ain't nothing funny about letting somebody walk all over you. Ain't nothing funny about you arguing with yourself in your head because you allow some bullshit to fucking fester. Ain't nothing funny. So when you address your boundaries, be clear on it. Motherfuckers love to say some disrespectful shit to you in a joking manner, and then you fuck up because you laugh too. So now they think that it's okay. They think that you gave them permission to talk to you like that. But in reality, you didn't like it, but you laughed so that way you can lighten the mood. I'm gonna tell you right now, no. If you don't fucking like it, you need to address it. You need to make it clear that that's what's being addressed right now. Confidence. And that's one of the biggest things right there. We won't address it. And I think when I look back on why I didn't say that my name was Meech earlier instead of D, it wasn't because it was a plethora of things, to be honest with you. But one of the biggest things was confidence. I said it earlier, dude. Like, that was my first time in my entire military career where I was intimidated. Like, I had never been around Marines that were legitimately better than me. You feel me? Like, I had never been around that in so many aspects. And I felt so small trying to bring that up. I felt like it was, I just didn't have the confidence for it. And I didn't have the confidence in my work ethic. I didn't have the confidence in my fighting ability. I didn't have the confidence in my martial arts instructor trainer, teaching style. I didn't have it yet. So I just felt weird trying to bring up like, hey, I don't like being called D. Plus, I just wanted to be a part of the team. And I'll just be completely honest with you. I just wanted to be a part of the team. And I bring that up, man, because of the simple fact that a lot of times, bro, like we won't address it because we don't have the confidence. Think about that junior Marine. You feel me? Think about that junior Marine. He knows you probably said some weird shit to him, or somebody probably said some weird shit to him, and he won't bring it up, man, because he's first thing that's popping in his head is, I'm a junior Marine. This is probably how they talk to everybody. I don't want to cause any problems. I'm not that guy yet. When you're that guy, and I don't think a lot of people understand, bro, when you that guy, when you that motherfucker that everybody looking for at the job, man, you saying whatever you want to say. You see what I'm saying? Like, even when I came out here on recruiting duty, I let some shit slide that I know for a fact I would have addressed within the first 12 hours. But because I wasn't confident in my recruiting ability just yet, I had to let that build. You feel me? When I started rolling bones, when I started writing contracts, you feel me? When I was on the streets, and I'm gonna say this real quick, I am no longer on the streets. I work at MEPS. When I was on the streets and I started showing that I could actually have like a contract come in, you feel me? Man, you wasn't about to say some slick ass shit to me and think that I was gonna let that go. Especially about whatever I was doing. But the thing is that our confidence is usually tied to what we can do, not just who we are. You feel me? And when you haven't proven what you can do yet, it's hard, bro. Like, it's hard to have fucking confidence. So I will say this again, man. Like, one of the biggest problems that we struggle with is timing, clarity, and confidence. Now, before I tell you exactly how to set these boundaries or what you're setting, we gotta keep it a buck with each other first. We definitely gotta keep it a buck with each other. And I will say this, man. A moment of transparency, a moment of accountability. They not doing what they want because they can. They're doing what they want because you allow it. And I'll say that again. All right. The people walking all over you or saying what they want to say, or you feel like they just, like not respecting you, they're not doing what they want because they can't. They're doing what they want because you allow it, because you have never addressed it. And I'm not saying that, man, for you to beat yourself up. I'm not saying that. But anthills turn to mountains over time. Seeds turn to trees over time. Everything got to grow over time. And because you allowed it, it almost seems like you gave it permission. And I hate to say it like that. And I'm not trying to say this to beat you up, bro. I'm not. But at the exact same time, man, they only doing what the fuck you allow. But here's the power in this. You can allow something one day and no longer allow it. Motherfuckers lose a free subscription every day. The price will go up. And when you establish a new standard for yourself, I don't give a fuck what I allowed yesterday. I ain't allowing it today. All right, so now going to how to establish your boundaries, man. Like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this is gold. And it goes back into just that time and clarity and confidence, but I'm gonna break it down just a little bit more, man. First and foremost, address this early, okay? I don't know who need to hear this. Address it early. Use that Sarn Garcia rule. You have 1 week to address your boundaries. You see what I'm saying? Let me rephrase that. You have 1 week to establish your boundaries when you walk into a new space. Let me rephrase that. You don't even got to walk into a new space. Every day becomes a new space for you. So what I mean is that you have 1 week to establish your new boundaries, and you can set that rule for yourself, but you need to address it early. The reason why is because when you address things early, there's no conflict, there's no confrontation. That's just you letting them know, like, look, man, I ain't fucking with what you just said. I don't like that. Don't talk to me like that. And either A, and here's the thing that you got to understand, either A, they can continue to keep talking to you, they can continue to keep engaging with you, or B, they won't. That's it. One thing that you got to understand, man, like, you cannot be begging for motherfuckers to want to, like, fuck with you, be your friend, want to work with you. You got to be comfortable with being able to do this shit alone. You feel me? If you are not comfortable with doing shit alone or doing shit on your own, then you are going to allow your boundaries to constantly keep getting crossed. You feel me? So I will say this right now. Address it early so that way you don't have to deal with it later. Number 2, never laugh at anything that bothers you. And I don't know who need to hear this. Never laugh at anything that bothers you, okay? I understand you get that nervous laugh, that angry laugh. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I can't believe that you just said that laugh. But please understand that people will utilize laughter as a gateway for permission, Oh, he didn't think that it was that serious. Oh, I was just joking. Just like what I said earlier, a motherfucker loves to say some disrespectful ass shit to you in a joking manner. Let them know that this is not a joke. Ain't nothing funny about what I just said. You feel me? Ain't nothing funny about what you just said. Do not play with me like that. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that. Do not play with me like that. I don't like that. And for my Dream Marine that's probably listening, you feel me? Because I know for a fact I tend to give advice from a perspective that you may not be able to utilize. Don't fucking laugh. I don't know how else to say that, bro, but don't laugh. When people see that you're not laughing, understand that they know that you don't think it's funny. When you laugh, you assume that, oh, okay, it's a joke. Don't laugh. One thing that I was always good at being in the military is one thing that I always follow. I don't laugh at things that ain't funny. Do not laugh at something that's not funny, bro. Number 3, keep it consistent. If you address it today, you better address it tomorrow. If it was wrong now, it's always going to be wrong. You feel me? If it was wrong today, it will be wrong tomorrow and it will be wrong next week. The problem with boundaries is that y'all be moving the line back and forth. You feel me? The problem with boundaries is that y'all be moving the line back and forth. Okay? You addressing some shit on Monday, but then you about to let it slide on Wednesday. You feel me? Absolutely not. If it's wrong today, it's wrong tomorrow. Be consistent. People will pick up on that. And that's exactly how you establish the boundary. If they understand that you're not playing about this and you wasn't playing about it yesterday and you're damn sure not about to play about it today, then once again, you're building the consistency. Problem is that you said something about it, but then now you about to let it slide. You feel me? And that's not how we about to do this. And lastly, match the energy with composure, not frustration, not emotion. All right. And I'll say that again. Match the energy with composure, not emotion. All right. You don't want to shake the spot up because you don't want to be a problem. All right. I will tell you right now, if you come at this situation emotional, you will be a problem. If you're a Junior Marine, you feel me? Junior Marine, this is exactly who I'm talking about. If you get emotional about the disrespect, if you get emotional about the boundary, I promise you they're going to try to weaponize that against you. That's why I say don't laugh. That's why I say keep your cool. That's what I'm saying. Keep your composure. This was something I had to adopt as a staff and CO. You feel me? I had to have composure. I can't be fucking mad. I can't be yelling. I can't be hooping and hollering. I match it. Somebody said something, hey man, don't talk to me like that. If you talk to me like that again, we're going to have an issue. Period. I don't talk to you like that. And that's a good one right there. I don't talk to you like that. So please do not talk to me like that. Don't allow your emotions to be on your sleeve when you're faced with disrespect, because they will utilize that against you. Now, as we come to a close of this episode, man, one of the biggest things that I just want to say is that if you have ever been in a situation where you have to establish your boundaries or you feel like you're having a hard time establishing your boundaries, please understand that doesn't make you weak. When I went to the MACE, bro, like I had already been a 2nd-degree martial arts instructor trainer. You feel me? I had already ran 7 martial arts instructor courses by then. Meritorious Marine. #1 in my fucking battalion. Long ball hitter. You feel me? Force multiplier. I was not a small fry at all, man. And even I was faced with a boundary issue. Even I was faced with being intimidated. Even I had to deal with all those things. So please don't beat yourself up. As I progress through the ranks of being a staff NCO, there are still days where I deal with boundaries, bro. And I will say this to whoever's listening to this episode, because I don't know who need to hear it. Don't beat yourself up about something that you learned today that you wish you would have knew yesterday. You feel me? Don't beat yourself up about some shit that you learned today that you wish you would have knew yesterday. The whole purpose of life is gaining experience. You feel me? The thing that you need to beat yourself up is if you had the experience and you still allowed it to happen. You feel me? Because now that you gained the experience, you have now gained the tools to be able to use it. So use it. And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to follow me up on Instagram at Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled MEECH. Head on over to YouTube to watch it. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Matter of fact, forget all of that. Head on straight down to meechspeaks.com. Grab yourself a shirt. Check out an episode. But most importantly, don't forget to leave this podcast an honest review, because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. Stay hungry. Stay motivated. I'm out.
And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to head on over to your favorite streaming platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, and leave this podcast an honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do.